it's Alicia, and I'm here for your chair yoga class today. Thank you, and welcome, and thank you for joining me. If you're out there watching this video, I'd love to hear from you, so please drop some comments in the box or send me a message. It'd be really nice to know who's out there. And if you're able to donate, that is also greatly appreciated. There's instructions in the description of this class on how to do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. So we'll start in our sturdy chair. Reminder to take care of your body. If there's anything that doesn't feel right, don't feel like you have to do it. Lots of different ways to modify things, and if you're not sure how to do that, just take it easy and join back in when something seems like it fits better for your body. So we'll sit for a moment. You can lean back in the chair, a comfortable seat. Your eyes could be open or closed, and you can let your hands rest in your lap, palms up or palms down, your choice. Some slow, deep breaths here. Even with eyes closed, you can notice your surroundings, be aware of what's happening around you or what's not happening around you. Be aware of the room that you're in, the chair that you're in, and the body that you're in. And concentrating on a simple instruction of slow, deep breath. A short passage from Pema Chodron's book, Comfortable with Uncertainty. This passage is called The Dharma. The Dharma, the Buddha's teaching, is about letting go of the storyline and opening to what is, to the people in our life, to the situations we're in, to our thoughts, to our emotions. We have a certain life, and whatever life we're in is a vehicle for waking up. Often we hear the teachings so subjectively that we think we're being told what is true and what is false. But the Dharma never tells us what is true or what is false. It just encourages us to find out for ourselves. However, because we have to use words, we make statements. For example, we say, the everyday practice is simply to develop complete acceptance of all situations, emotions, and people. That sounds like to do this is what's true, and not to do this would be false. But that's not what it means. What it means is that we could find out for ourselves what is true and what is false. Try to live that way and see what happens. You'll come up against all of your doubts and fears and hopes, and you'll grapple with that. When you start to live that way, with the sense of what does this really mean, you'll find it quite interesting. After a while, you forget that you're even asking the question. You practice meditation or you just live your life, and you have insight, a fresh take on what is true. Insight comes suddenly, as though you've been wandering around in the dark and someone switches on all the lights and reveals a palace. It's been there all along. It feels as if we've discovered something that no one else ever knew, and yet it's completely straightforward and simple. And so considering the question of what does this really mean, you might take that into a couple of deeper breaths. You might turn that into an intention for your practice. Or if there's something else that you would like to set as your intention, please feel free to do that as well. Another couple of moments here. Slow, deep breath, intention setting. And we'll come forward in the chair so that you're perched right on the edge of the seat. feet flat on the floor, or if you need some support underneath your feet, have it be a flat, firm something to rest your feet on. We'll lean forward, bring forearms to the thighs, head can bow slightly. Couple of breaths here. You can stretch out long through your spine. Think about lengthening between the tail and the crown of the head. If you'd like to come deeper into this, you could lean a little more forward. Arms come between the legs or to the outsides of the legs, whatever works best for you. And there's a bit more rounding of the spine and the head might hang. And if that doesn't work for you, coming back to forearms on thighs is a great place to stay. There's lots of stretch to be had here. Another couple of breaths. Forearms come back to the thighs if they're not there already. We'll take a breath here. And then hands press down into the legs and we slowly come upright. We'll take the right arm out to the side and up. Get a long right side and then lean over to the left. Come back to center. Right arm comes down. Hand comes back to the thigh. Left arm goes out and up. Long left side and lean to the right. Come back up. Arm comes back down. And then we go back to the right side. Right arm sweeps up. And then we lean to the left. And we come back to center and release that arm. Left arm goes up. Long stretch and leaning to the right. And coming back to center, arm comes back down. One more time, each side, right arm goes up, and we lean. We come back to center, and then left arm goes up, side bending to the right. And coming back to center, arm comes down. Now both arms, inhaling out to the sides and up. You might look up if you like. Exhaling, arms come back down to your sides, and you could look down. Inhaling, arms out and up, maybe looking up. Exhale, arms back down, looking down. A few more times, reaching out and up. And if one breath won't get you there, 2 breaths or more breaths are welcome on the way up and down. And then one more time, arms going out to the sides and up. And coming back down. Hands rest back on the thighs and we'll take a couple of deep breaths. Noticing any change in the mood, change in the body, change in the breath. We're going to twist to the right. So the right arm comes, it can rest on the back of the chair. Left arm comes over to the right leg and making a tall spine, long spine, a deep breath, and turning to the right. Your head could stay in neutral with the chin in line with the sternum, or you could see about turning the head to whatever extent your neck will allow. You could also take your right arm and bring it to the inside of the chair back to hold on to the chair seat and see how that feels. Couple of breaths. And then we come back to center and we pause here for a moment, noticing how that feels. And we'll twist to the left. Left arm can start at the back of the chair. Right hand reaches across to the left leg. We lengthen the spine, deepen the breath, turning the head if we choose. And then you might slip the arm to the inside of the chair back, finding some part of the seat to hold on to. And twisting from there. A few breaths. Come back to center, pausing a moment here. Hands rest on the legs. Eyes could close for a moment. Observing your breath, observing your body. We'll move through a few variations of the seated sun salutation. Take this as a slow practice. We'll take the arms out to the sides and up, get long, could look up if that works. And then arms come down and we fold forward, forearms to the thighs or going a little further if that works for you. Taking a breath here. Coming back up, hands to the kneecaps, arching the spine. And coming back to neutral, drawing your right leg in and giving it a hug. And then we'll round towards that leg. Coming back up, right leg comes down, arms go out to the sides and up. And we come forward again, forearms to thighs or further if you choose. A breath here. Hands come up to the kneecaps and we arch the spine. We come back to neutral spine and we draw the left knee in. You can hold on to any part of the leg that works. We'll round towards the knee. And then come back up, foot to the floor. Arms go out to the sides and up, this time touching palms. And bringing hands to heart center. Pausing here a moment. Could look at the fingertips or close your eyes. And then again, we'll sweep the arms out to the sides and up, looking up if that works for the neck. Coming forward, forearms to the thighs or further forward if you choose, and pausing a moment here for a breath. Hands come to the kneecaps and we lean a little forward as we arch the spine, roll the shoulders back, lengthen the front of your body. And then come back to neutral, hugging the right leg in and rounding toward it. Spine comes back to neutral, right leg goes down, arms go out to the sides and up. And then we come forward again, forearms to thighs or further forward, pausing for a breath. Hands come up to the kneecaps and we're leaning a little forward but then arching the spine. Heart reaches forward, roll the shoulders back. Spine comes back to neutral and we hug the left knee in. And then we round. Spine comes back to neutral, leg comes down, arms go out to the sides and up, this time palms touch. And hands come to heart center. And we pause here for a moment, eyes looking down to the fingertips or eyes closed. And again, we'll take the arms out to the sides and up, reaching up. Coming forward to a forward bend, forearms to the thighs or perhaps farther forward. Pause here for a breath. Hands come to kneecaps and we arch the spine, roll the shoulders back, lift the chin slightly. Spine comes to neutral, right knee hugs in. Get a tall spine first and then rounding towards the right leg. Coming back up, right leg goes down, arms go out to the sides and up. And we come forward again, forearms to thighs or further. Pause a moment where you are. Hands come to knees and spine arches. Back to neutral. Left knee hugs in. And then we round toward it. Coming back up, leg goes down, arms go out to the sides and up, palms touch. Hands come to heart center and we pause. Eyes could close here. I'm taking notice of any interesting things in your body, physical sensations. Notice your breath. From here, we'll come up to stand. So taking your time to stand up, moving your chair to one end of your mat. And we'll have all four legs on the mat just to keep everything stable. Seat faces away from us. And we'll stand behind the chair. Fingertips could rest on the back of the chair for support as we find mountain pose. And at any time, arms could come to your sides. But feel free to hold on to the chair as much as you like. Lengthen your spine, lift your gaze a little bit, and take a slow, deep breath. Hands come onto the back of the chair, and we'll step both legs back for our downward facing dog. So it might be a couple of steps. Feet end up about underneath the hips, which is hard to see, but feel around into it. Stretching long through your spine, hands are resting on the back of the chair. There could be a bend to your knees as much as you like. And we'll take a few breaths here. You can reach through the arms, reach through your legs, reach through your spine. Lift your torso a little bit and take a big step forward with your right foot. Right foot comes to near the chair. We'll bend the right knee, angle your left heel in slightly, press it down into the floor, and bending the right knee so that it comes about over the heel, maybe a little behind the heel, maybe over the ankle. Lifting the torso, we're working towards warrior one. So we can come up, light touch fingertips on the back of the chair, and hands can stay here. If it feels a little wobbly, maybe just the left arm reaches up. But if it feels stable, both arms could reach up, and you can think about lifting the gaze slightly. Couple of breaths here, two strong legs. Hands come back down to the chair if they're not there already. We're going to straighten the right knee. We're going to lift the spine up, turn the hips so that they're facing a little bit more forward. And then start to bend your elbows and lean towards the chair. The hands might come down to the chair seat. So two straight or almost straight legs. Could bow the head slightly. Pressing back into the back leg, stretching forward with your spine. Another breath here. And then we'll bring the hands back up to the chair back. Bend the front knee slightly. Could be a few steps to get the front leg to come back to meet the back leg, but eventually we're back to our downward facing dog. Hands could stay on the chair back, or perhaps hands come to the chair seat. But still reaching back through your hips, lengthening your spine. Knees could bend a little or even a lot if that felt like a good stretch for you. Another breath here. Hands come back up to the chair seat. And we take a big step forward with the left foot, Left leg comes forward. The right heel turns and angles in slightly. And then we bend in the left knee, working back towards our warrior one. You can come up onto the fingertips of the hands and lengthen through your spine. Hands could stay on the chair. Maybe just the right arm lifts. Maybe both arms lift. Gaze could also lift slightly, and we'll take a couple of breaths here. Hands come back down to the chair. We're going to straighten the left leg. We're going to lean a little forward. Just bend the elbows and keep the hands where they are. Or hands could come down to the chair seat. Perhaps a slight bow of your head. Two legs that are almost straight or straight. Right hip rolls a little forward as the left hip goes a little back. Couple of breaths. We'll bend the left knee slightly, hands back to the back of the chair, and taking as many steps as necessary to get the feet back for our downward facing dog. Lining up the feet, stretching long through the spine. Hands could stay on the back of the chair. Hands could come to the chair seat, or if you do downward facing dog on the mat, feel free to come all the way down, hands to the mat. Breathing here. And then bending your knees and slowly walking forward, eventually coming up to standing in one way or another. We're back to mountain pose. Fingertips could rest on the back of the chair, or arms could come to your sides. Letting the body settle down, grounding through the feet and legs. We're going to do a couple of balancing poses. To start with, we'll take hands to the chair and just taking one step back from the chair. So you're just a little bit back from the chair. Right leg comes back as a kickstand, toes on the floor for the moment. Hands stay on the chair. We're going to lift the right leg. Maybe it's just an inch or two. And tip the torso forward. Elbows can bend. We're going to pause here. Hands could be quite strong on the chair, or you could have a light touch with the hands on the chair. It's up to you. Flex your right foot, reach out through your right heel. Lift the heart a little bit. Maybe you lean a little more forward. One more breath. And then we put the foot down. Pause for a moment. Fingertips on the back of the chair or arms at your sides. Take a long, slow breath in and a long breath out, especially if you were holding the breath during the balancing part. So I'll remind you better this time to remember to keep breathing. Hands come to the back of the chair. Left leg steps back, and you might reposition the right foot. Make sure that you feel stable. We're going to stand on the right leg now. We're going to lift the left leg. Maybe it's just an inch or two, and flex the left foot. Reach out through the heel. Notice if you went a little too much over to the right, come back to center. Imagine someone squeezing your hips in toward each other. This might be plenty enough, or you can bend the elbows a little bit, tip the torso forward. Use the chair for support. Slow, deep breath here. Maybe a little bit of bend in the right knee. And then we'll bring that foot back to where it came from. Pausing, standing tall, fingertips on the back of the chair or arms at your sides. Slow, deep breath in And a long breath out. We're going to do a similar thing, but from our downward facing dog shape. So hands onto the back of the chair, legs step back to downward facing dog. So stretching long through the spine, reaching back through the hips, reaching forward through the crown of your head, and you're looking slightly downward. Get a good grip on the chair. Maybe the thumbs wrap around. Depends on the shape of the chair, but maybe the thumbs wrap around or maybe the thumbs drape over. Feet come a little closer together. We'll stand on the left leg. So taking the right leg back, again, toes to the floor for the moment. And notice if you're leaning a little too far to the left. Try to stay straight through your arms. A little micro bend in the left knee would be great. And maybe the right leg lifts an inch or two. Maybe it lifts more than an inch or two. Flex the foot, reach out through the right heel. Couple of breaths, slow deep breath, unclenched jaw. Again, you could imagine someone squeezing your hips in towards center. One more breath. Leg comes down. You can lift the torso. Keep the legs and arms where they are. Lift the torso, arch the spine. And then we'll come back to our downward facing dog shape. And maybe adjusting feet a little closer to the chair. Feet can come closer to each other. Lengthen through your spine. Left leg comes back, toes to the floor. Right knee could have a little micro bend. We want to think about evening out the hips so they face towards the floor. And then maybe just an inch off the floor with the left leg. Notice if you're leaning a little too far to the right. Use the muscles of the belly. Try to come to center. Leg might lift a little higher or it might not. And you're taking some slow, deep breaths. Leg comes down, bend the right knee. Lift the spine a little bit and arch. And then bending both knees, walking toward the chair. Pausing in mountain pose, hands on the back of the chair or arms at your sides. Couple of breaths here. We're going to move the chair again, this time to the center of the long side of the mat. Could just be two legs on the mat. Seat faces toward you. From here, taking a wide stance, legs wide apart. Toes are turned in slightly, but mostly pointing forward slightly in. Standing tall here, anchoring down through your tailbone, lifting into your crown of your head. Taking the arms out to a T shape, reaching fingertips for opposite sides of the room. We'll bring the right hand to the right hip and take the left hand to the right side of the chair. So it reaches across. Maybe it's the back of the chair. Maybe it's the seat of the chair. Maybe it's even somewhere down the leg of the chair. Just a touch. We don't have to hold on. We look a little to the right. We slowly come back up. Arms stretch out to the sides. Left hand comes to the left hip. Right arm reaches across. Chair back, chair seat, chair leg. And we turn to the left. Turn the torso and belly to the left. And then keep breathing. We come back up. Arms out to a wide T. This time, maybe going to the same place, right hand to the right hip, maybe going a little lower. Torso turns to the right. This time we have the option to stretch the right arm out to the right and then see if it will come up just a little bit. It doesn't have to come all the way up. One more breath. Right hand back to the right hip, coming back upright and stretching arms wide. Left hand to the left hip. Right arm reaches across, and again, you might go a little lower than you did in the previous time, but you don't have to. Torso turns. Left arm goes straight out to the left, and maybe that's where it stays. Or you can see about opening that arm up a little bit. Deep breath. Left hand back to left hip. Untwisting and coming back up, stretching arms wide. Hands come to heart center. We pause for a moment here. And then hands to hips. Thinking about tilting the pelvis forward so that we can lean forward. Hands could reach out for the chair back. That's going to keep us more upright. Hands could come down to the chair seat. And from there, elbows could bend so that the torso lowers a little bit, or elbows could stay straight or anywhere in between. Forearms could also come to the seat of the chair if that works for you. A little bowing of the head. Another breath or two here. Hands come back up to lift the torso. Can bend your knees. Take one hand to a hip and then other hand to the hip. And coming back up to stand. Pausing here a moment. And then we'll toe heel the feet a couple of times before we step the legs back together. Moment in our mountain pose, arms at the sides, anchoring down through the legs and feet. Taking your chair back to its starting place, wherever that was, and sitting back down in it. We'll sit near the front of the chair, feet flat on the floor. Closing the eyes or casting the gaze downward for a couple of breaths, letting any excitement in the breath settle down. And let's stretch a little bit through the feet. So we'll shift a little to the right. Taking the right foot alongside of your chair, and you have a choice. Either the pads of the toes are down, or if it works to have the top of the foot down, let the top of the foot be down. And we're going to roll from baby toe to big toe and from big toe to baby toe. Rolling across the toes, whether it's pads of the toes or top of the foot, or you might try a little bit of both. Foot could come further back, and that might take some of the intensity off. Or if the foot were further forward, that's a little more bend for the toes, a little more bend for the ankle. Another couple of breaths here, rolling the foot around. And then we'll come back to center. We'll slide a little bit to the left so we have space. Left leg comes alongside of the chair. Again, if it's more farther forward, it would be more intense. If it's back a little further, it'll be less intense. Rolling across either the tops of the foot, tops of the toes, or across the pads of the toes, or maybe a little bit of each. Can make a circular kind of a shape. Moving the ankle. Get a good mash across the top of the foot. And then coming back to center. Centering yourself on your chair. And then one last thing for the feet. We're going to lift up all of the toes and try to spread them apart. And you could lean a little forward. In fact, you could even lean onto your forearms. just so you get a good look at what's happening at your toes. And then we'll relax the toes. And then let's curl the toes under like we're going to make a toe fist. And then relax and wiggle the toes. And then seeing, could you lift just the big toes? And if they need help, go ahead and help them. Press the little ones down, lift the big one up. And then we'll switch. The big toes press down and the little toes lift up. And we'll see if we can't spread them apart. Might help if you move your hands or your face. I'm not sure that helps, but we do it anyway. And then little toes go down, and we'll see if the big toes will come back up independently. And if they need help, give them help. Deep breath. Big toes go down again, and little toes come up and spread apart. And then we'll release, sit back up in the chair, give one foot a shake, other foot a shake. Long spine, inhale, arms go out to the sides and up. Exhale, we'll come forward, forearms stopping at the thighs or coming further forward into this forward bend. Couple of breaths here. Forearms back to the thighs if they're not already there. Hands press into the thighs and we come up to sit. Pausing a moment, eyes could close or stay open. Finding our relaxation, our final relaxation, our Shavasana. If you're near a couch or a bed, you might lie down. If you stay in the chair, you might get something to prop up the legs, a pillow or another piece of furniture. If you're okay coming onto the floor, you can come onto the floor, and you might also consider using your chair. If you do come onto the floor, you could use the chair to prop up the legs. So you would move close to the chair, lower legs come onto the chair seat, and we lie back from here. Of course, if it's too hard to get up and down off the floor, please arrange yourself either in the chair or on a couch or a bed. And take a slow, deep breath in and a long breath out. Take another slow, deep breath in and a long breath out. And then allowing your breath to return to its natural pattern, its natural rhythm. Bringing awareness to the muscles of your face and jaw. And it might require a bit of movement. You can move the jaw around. Open and close the eyes. And then get a sense of relaxation through your face and jaw. And from there, relaxing your neck and throat and your shoulders. And depending on how you're arranged, it might help to move the shoulders in some way to get them more comfortable. And from there, the arms can relax and move away from the body if you've got space. Palms could be turned up. Fingers in a relaxed, curved shape. Relaxing through your torso. Relaxing through your hips and pelvis and belly. Bring your awareness to the muscles of your back. Letting your back rest into the mat. Soften down through your legs and into your feet and toes. Whole body from head to toe, relaxing. Whole body from head to toe, letting go. And still being aware of your surroundings, aware of sensations in your body, aware of the movement, the rise and fall of your breath. Give yourself an opportunity to fully relax. If you have extra time, please feel free to stay in this relaxed place. I encourage you to rest and rejuvenate. If you're coming out of the practice, take a couple of slow, deep breaths. And begin to move your fingers and your toes. Move your hands and your feet. And give a big yawn or stretch. You can come back to a seat of some sort, either where you are or back into your chair. We'll elongate our spines, eyes could close. Take a couple of slow breaths here. Hands can come to heart center if you choose. Bowing our heads in gratitude. Gratitude for our breath and our body. Gratitude for our practice. Gratitude for all of the teachers who have come before us and for all of the teachers we might meet in the future. We send happiness and peace to everyone. We send happiness and peace to ourselves. Thank you for joining me for class today. Namaste. I look forward to seeing you in another video soon, and if you have any feedback, please let me know. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.